All right, so client onboarding automation for agencies. If you don't already know what it is, so it's like every time a new client comes in for an agency, or basically when any agency gets a new client for themselves, signs a new client, then this onboarding process is just activated and it just consists of creating a Slack channel or any such communication-based channel and also a project management channel plus some other steps such as scheduling a kickoff call and all of that stuff. Okay, here I'm literally just going to show you how this automation can be created for the client onboarding process for any agency and why is it even considerable? Like, why should you even consider this thing in the first place? Okay, now let's just straight away get into the material that I have here. So, first of all, it includes why even you care about onboarding process. Okay, so if you're familiar with agencies and how agencies work, then it's basically like, first of all, it's the lead gen process where you get some leads. Then you have the sales process where when you close clients. Then comes the onboarding process. Then comes the fulfillment process. Then comes the after fulfillment communication process. Tons of these processes. And why am I focusing on onboarding as such, which might seem pretty little of a thing to focus on. So first of all, we have this study which shows 86% of customers say that helpful onboarding encourages long-term retention, right? So 86% of the customers who work with agencies, they do say that onboarding processes, when done correctly, they do increase the likelihood of the client working with the agency for a longer term. Okay, and also leads to higher satisfaction and retention. Then the other study says that over 60% of customers say that they factor the onboarding experience into their buying decision, and a poor onboarding is a top churn driver. So, if you didn't understand it already, so it's like when an onboarding process doesn't look professional or doesn't look natural or isn't even there, then over 60% of customers have this saying that it is a top churn driver and it might not lead them to actually work with the agency again in the longer term. And then another survey that I have says that 40% of the agencies, uh, according to the survey, onboard new agency clients within 3 days. Like 3 days of the client actually signing the invoice or when the client is signed. It takes 3 days at minimum for like 40% of the agencies to onboard the client, and for the remaining 60%, they aim for the completion within 1 to 2 weeks, which is 7 to 14 days after the agency signs a new client and they come in, right? So, any onboarding steps, such as creating a dedicated communication channel and creating a project management channel, which can actually increase the likelihood of the customer to have a better impression of the service that the agency is going to provide, or basically to have a better working experience with the agency. It just affects it. Okay, and also, in many cases, shorter onboarding cycles equate to a revenue increase of 31%. And also, investing in better onboarding experiences increase CLV, which is client lifetime value, by 60%. Okay, again, which directly indicates that the client retention is increased, and yeah, it's basically just directly enhanced by the use of this proper onboarding process. Then, improving client onboarding can improve retention rates by 70%, which we did discuss before, and also 63% of customers will consider the onboarding period before subscribing to a service or buying something. Okay, so it brings us to this law of value perception for any product or any services which are to be sold, or value perception as a factor which is pretty important for businesses providing any product or any service, which is that no matter how good your product is, the packaging or the other things that you give with it, that you provide with it, they should be good enough as well. Let's say you purchase any skincare product, okay? Now, no matter how good the skincare product actually works on your skin, or no matter how good results it actually gives you, the packaging of the product and what you see the product is from the outside packaging, it does drive your likelihood of purchasing that product in comparison to the other ones. Yeah, it basically just also increases the chances of you buying the product once again. Okay, so similarly, it's like no matter what agency service you're providing to the client, but the package you put around it, which includes the onboarding process and some other fulfillment aspects, yeah, it does increase their likelihood of working with you once again. Okay. And also, without a structured agency plan onboarding process in place, most agencies spend about 5 hours onboarding each new client. So, for any mid scale to any large scale agencies, which get 5 to 10 clients a month, all the way up to hundreds of clients per month, they just spend 5 hours for each onboarding process for each new client. Okay. Which is not ideal, of course, and it does take your team members a lot of time and a lot of efforts, right? Now, the thing is, if we summarize these points that why our onboarding process is even considerable, I have some points right here, which are 7 out of 10 clients' retention is made easy directly through the onboarding process, just because of the value perception factor that I just told you, and it eventually increases MRR for the agency. Okay. Then 2 to 5 hours saved per client onboarding, particularly when this onboarding process is done through the automation. Okay, not the team members, because team members actually spend a lot of their time, which is nearly 2 to 5 hours per client onboarding. That will be just directly eliminated and yeah, will be replaced by this automation, which does sound pretty evil that the team members would be replaced or their work would be replaced. But yeah, that's the truth, and that's what businesses actually have been into right now. And let me tell you, this onboarding process automation is one of the automations which actually work, which do provide the businesses or the agencies direct value, and which aren't some crazy shiny object BS. Then also that better onboarding, it leads to value perception of the client just skyrocketing, which then leads to more referrals and increased further collaborative opportunities. Okay, I hope you got what I'm saying, that why this onboarding process is better when done through the automation rather than the team members, okay, and the staff. You might have some team members that particularly do this thing, or you might have a VA that does this thing for you. But yeah, automation just is pretty more reliable because yeah, once you give it a task to get done, it just gets done the perfect way. While in the case of team members or yeah, any team members doing that stuff, doing that task, they might miss out on some steps in between, because this onboarding process is literally one of the tasks which are done pretty regularly and which is pretty repetitive, pretty boring. And while doing such boring tasks, even you might understand this, that a lot of the times you might lose some steps in between, okay? And you might not perfectly do this thing every single time. Now, once we've covered this, let's come to how does the onboarding process actually looks like, okay? Or like what steps does it include and how does this automation actually work and execute? So first of all, let's say as soon as the client is complete, the process starts. Okay. Then this automation just gets activated. Project portal is created inside Notion, ClickUp, or etc. Project portal is basically you have this dedicated folder, this project folder that you have for that particular client to just track all their project work and basically how is their project going and what are the latest updates related to their project portal. Then a dedicated Slack channel is created for easy communication. Slack, if you don't know, is basically a platform which kind of looks like Discord, which is dedicatedly created for businesses to just simplify the communication process. And then the fifth step is that send another email. Okay, no, fourth one is that send a welcome email containing a project portal link and Slack channel link. So the project portal and the Slack channel that we just created, their links, and a welcome email, which basically is highly personalized, which might be something like, hi, John. I want to congratulate you for taking your first step towards your agency's growth and any of that stuff. So, yeah, that's what we include inside a welcome email. Then send another email including an onboarding form link to gather most of the details required for the project. Okay. So, most agencies, when they have this onboarding process, they have this onboarding form, which includes some of the questions like what tech stack they use and, how does their onboarding process ideally look like, all such questions that will just help the agency to understand their client better and their situation better. It also saves the team's time because now, a lot of the times, this onboarding form thing is done pretty late or even while the kickoff call is scheduled. Okay, so it just saves the team the time to get this onboarding form link and just gets the whole process done more quickly as comparatively. Now, notify the internal team about the incoming project, and even assign the project to any particular team member specifically. So whenever any new client comes in and all these steps are taken, then the internal team will be notified that a new client just came in, or a new client was just signed. And even if you have like a whole bunch of team members which are supposed to get assigned these projects, this automation might even assign these projects to any particular team member specifically if you have any such conditions, or if you have any such round robin kind of thing for assigning projects to your team members. Then, seventh one is get a kickoff call scheduled by sending them the cal.com Calendly link, which basically could be done in the same email in which we send them the onboarding form link. So we can also send them the calendar link to just when they can schedule a kickoff call based on the availability. And then the eighth one is that weekly and monthly project status reporting structure. Okay. So either every week or every month, the agency team will be notified about the project status, and the reports would be sent so that actually tracking the client's project becomes easier and becomes more efficient. Okay. Then the ninth one is that check-in reminder to maintain healthy communication. So for any client onboarded, let's say in a Slack channel, reminders would be sent to the agency team to just check in with the customer so that a healthy communication will be maintained, and again a value perception that your agency's team's support is pretty helpful or pretty active. Okay, so now that this thing is covered, like how does this process actually look like? I just have some properties for this foolproof system that I have right here. So, which might also answer some of your questions or concerns if you're an agency owner looking at this video right now. So the properties include that this automation is first of all worth the investment because it's just giving you the high ROI instantly, and it's saving you or your team time, or the money that you might spend into the team members that have to get this task done of this onboarding process, right? Then set up and forget DFY system. No extra efforts required. DFY is do for yourself. Set up and forget is basically that you just set this automation up and it just takes place every time new client comes in, and you just don't have to care about it at all. Okay. You just have to set it up and forget about it, and get every time just get your onboarding process done automatically. Then your systems, your processes, your tech stack, totally customizable automation for you. No matter what tech stack you use, no matter how complex the process is for you, no matter how different the process is for you, is for your agency, as compared to this, what I just highlighted here, it is totally customizable and it can be done exactly as your team members currently do it. Then, no scope for errors. Like you might think that because this onboarding process is basically we're getting it automated, it might cause some errors potentially, and it can sometimes just stop working. So there's no scope for it, just little to no scope for it. And even for the worst case scenario, you will get an alert message that you've got this kind of error. And to deal with those errors, which are pretty solvable and really easy to get over with, two dedicated training sessions will be provided along with this automation that will just give your team a good preview of how to actually deal with these errors. And if you want to make some customizations to your automation yourself, then yeah, basically those training sessions are pretty useful for that particular case. Then no upgrades required until the tech stack remains the same. So until you have this tech stack ready for yourself, and once you have set your automation up, including this tech stack, no upgrades are required, and no matter how many upgrades you do to your system, this workflow, this automation won't get affected at all. Also, every inch of the process of this onboarding process is personalized, and there is no scope that it would appear to the client that it isn't human done. Okay, it would appear absolutely human done, absolutely manual, and even that would appear efficient as something done by humans, but also on time. So yeah, this is what comes in along with this foolproof system. And through this video, I just wanted to highlight that there is a lot of scope providing or setting up these onboarding automations for agencies, as they do help in a lot of ways for the agency, and they do um, save a lot of time and money for the agency, which is basically just providing the direct value and just providing a decent ROI instantly, right? So yeah, that's it I had for the video. This was the part one of this whole thing that I have. The part two will just consist of how this automation could be made, how you can do it for yourself, and also containing a demo of the whole automation that actually works. Okay, so yeah, that's it I had for the video. Please make sure you drop any moment or gesture of appreciation if you liked this video, if you liked the value that I provided somehow. So yeah, I'll just see you in the next part. Till then, take care and bye bye.